News when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Monica Ricks. A federal judge has blocked President Trump's deployment of the Oregon National Guard to Portland, arguing it blurs the line between civil and military federal powers. Oregon Attorney General Dan Reifield agrees.
I think we all know that we're in an incredibly dangerous place in America right now. And today's ruling is an important wake-up call for the United States president.
Trump has called Portland war-ravaged. Meantime, about 300 soldiers are now headed to Chicago, where a woman was shot and injured by federal agents during an ICE protest. Authorities there say a convoy of cars blocked the agents, and the woman was trying to run them over when she was shot. Protesters gathered in Tel Aviv ahead of planned peace talks between Israel and Hamas in Egypt on Monday. The White House says a U.S. special envoy is headed there now to start those negotiations and get hostages back home. Families say they're hopeful.
My son was at the Nova Festival, and he was also fighting in Kibbutz Be'eri for his life. And yet we are horrified by the atrocities that are happening right now in the Gaza Strip. And we are anxious for this war to end.
Despite President Trump's call for Israel to stop bombing Gaza, Gaza's health ministry reports dozens of people were killed overnight in Israeli strikes. Police will have new powers to limit protests in the UK, where demonstrations have led to strained resources. Authorities arrested about 500 people yesterday at a big pro-Palestinian protest in London. The same event Prime Minister Keir Starmer had urged organizers to cancel following a deadly synagogue attack in Manchester. Here at home, Senate Democrats say President Trump's using the government shutdown to mass fire federal workers. Connecticut Senator Richard Blumenthal.
Unfortunately and tragically, this president has indicated that he will inflict maximum pain on the country as well as federal workers. But this kind of bullying cannot be allowed.
Blumenthal says he's talked to his Republican colleagues this weekend and hopes to see some progress in the coming days. Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney will be in Washington Tuesday to meet with President Trump for talks focused on trade and security. Carney last met Trump at the G7 back in June, right before Trump hit Canada with 35% tariffs. Bitcoin just set another all-time high, the token climbing as high as $125,689 today in Asia, but has since slipped back down to about $123,000. The early boost thanks to a broader risk rally around the U.S. government shutdown. Analysts had speculated it would drive investors to safe haven assets like cryptocurrency. OPEC Plus has agreed to increase November production levels up to 137,000 barrels a day. The group made the decision to recoup its share of global oil markets, which could now lead to a record surplus next year. Cracker Barrel ditched its marketing partnership this week. Here's Bloomberg's Charlie Pellet.
The Lebanon, Tennessee-based company says it's ending its engagement with Profit, which it hired to advise on its logo and restaurant redesign in an effort to update its brand to try to win back customers. Cracker Barrel is dealing with the fallout over its move to a simplified logo that removed a character dressed in overalls. In New York, Charlie Pellet, Bloomberg Radio.
Former NFL quarterback and Fox Sports analyst Mark Sanchez has been arrested in Indianapolis after allegedly getting stabbed in some sort of fight last night downtown. He faces multiple charges, including battery, but police say he hasn't been booked yet because he's still in the hospital. Sanchez was in Indianapolis to call Sunday's Raiders-Colts game. Playoff baseball continues later today when Toronto takes on New York in Game 2 of their American League Division Series. The Blue Jays dominated the Yankees in Game 1 last night, 10-1. Detroit's also set to take on Seattle after beating the Mariners 3-2. Over in the National League, Milwaukee beat Chicago 9-3, and the LA Dodgers took the W over Philly, winning 5-3. And Taylor Swift's latest album, The Life of a Showgirl, is proving to be another showstopper. Billboard reports it sold 2.7 million copies on its first day of release in the U.S., making it Swift's biggest week ever, and the second largest sales week for any modern album. Adele's 25 sold 3.3 million copies when it debuted in 2015. And that's news when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Monica Ricks, and this is Bloomberg.